Hi there, I'm Katie Wagner. Welcome to Social Media Help Desk. This is the time every week when we get together to talk about social media. You know, there's a lot of changes that happen in our industry and to the channels we use. So we use this time every week to update you on what those changes are, how we can use them to better serve our clients or your business, and sort of the tips and tricks that have been working for us around the agency. So today I'm here. Everybody is worried about this campaign interference we've been hearing a lot about. You know, a couple weeks ago on this show we talked about how people in Russia have been interfering with our public sentiment, let's say, by putting out content over Facebook, and that gets, you know, in people's streams and they absorb this content and they're trying to manipulate our hearts and minds and get us to act in a certain way. So obviously this is concerning to not only the leaders here in the US, but to the leaders of Facebook and Twitter and these channels that are being manipulated. So COO of Facebook, Sheryl Sandberg, and CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, were recently testifying at a congressional hearing about election interference. And I'll read you some quotes about the kind of things they said. Both leaders are really concerned about this and they're taking steps. So Sandberg says, at Facebook, we are focused on the upcoming U.S. midterms and on elections around the world. Our efforts in recent elections show us that the investments we are making are yielding results. So she thinks that since they've been trying to combat this kind of behavior, they are making progress. They did find out about that Russian interference. And they've been taking steps to change that stuff. And then Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, says, we are now removing over 200% more accounts for violating our policies. We are identifying and challenging 8 to 10 million suspicious accounts every week, and we are thwarting over 500,000 accounts from logging into Twitter every single day.
I'm going to jump in. I think it's really exciting to not only see this and kind of be like, I don't know what's really going on with elections, but in social media, we have seen Twitter do the purges that we talked about last month. They went through and cleared out a bunch of fake accounts. Almost every one of our clients was affected. So I think it's really exciting to see, like, this isn't just all talk. You know, we've actually seen them take action. And it's been beneficial, even though you think you're losing followers, it's beneficial to weed out spam accounts with our clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it goes beyond the political thing. I mean, we're getting rid of accounts that aren't really useful, and especially for Twitter, it's a lot of just conversing, you know, so I think it's good.
Yeah, I mean, Twitter's definitely put their money where their mouth is, right? We joked on this program a couple weeks ago that Twitter itself lost 12 million followers when they did their purge, right? Because they're taking out all the inactive accounts, all the robotic accounts, all the ones that aren't following the protocols, but they're saying that they're stopping people from logging on to Twitter every single day that have fake accounts. So they're really taking security seriously there, and at Facebook too. And I think that's a good thing. I think as we enter this next election season, hopefully there won't be the questions around interference that there have been in the past, and we can feel better that the information we're getting on social media is accurate or verified. But it raises an interesting question, because people say, well, how did all these fake accounts get there to begin with, right? And let us first say that if you were somebody who got hit by the Twitter purge and you lost a bunch of accounts, this is not your fault. You can't determine who follows you on Twitter, so a bunch of robots could be following you and you didn't do anything wrong. That's nothing you did. But there are a lot of robotic accounts on Twitter. And I think one of the things that sort of encourage that behavior is they have platforms where you can buy followers, right? And if you, for your business, decide, I want a bunch of Twitter followers, and you put forward some money to get them, those probably aren't real people. Like, you'll get the numbers, but those probably aren't real people. And you can do this on Twitter, you can do it on Instagram, you can do it on Facebook. And we are not fans, I think it's safe to say, we're not fans of that tactic, even though it's pretty prevalent. I think there are a few reasons, and I know that you guys think there are a few reasons why you shouldn't do that. And Ivana, I know that you've been doing some thinking about this recently.
Yeah, I think, it goes to show, not just for Facebook, but for all the social media, Twitter and Instagram, that you should never buy followers. You want people who are genuine, and if you're buying followers, these people aren't going to engage in your content. And so you're really paying just for the image, I guess, of the numbers. And these numbers aren't really doing anything for you, then it's, you're doing it for no reason.
Well, it's ego, right? It feels good.
It's just the image.
Yeah, it feels good to have a lot of followers. But one of the things we were talking about is that followers who are fake don't buy your product. They don't use your services. They don't visit your website. Like, all the reasons that you're doing social media to drive sales or lead generation or website traffic doesn't work with fake followers.
Yeah, and that really shows your credibility for other people if they're looking at your account and they see you have so many followers but only about 2 likes, then
yeah, I was going to say, you guys keep bringing up the numbers and you see that initial number, but if you look into all the numbers behind that, they don't support that initial number, such as engagement,
no engagement.
And impressions. So not all the numbers are there when you buy followers.
So you're saying I could have 10,000 fans, but then I post something and I get like 2 likes.
Yeah, and that's a big indicator that you've purchased followers, which is a no-no.
And that makes your true fans not really trust you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, I mean, I think it's hard to fool the people, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, we are social media savvy because we do this for a living, but I think a lot of people pick up on that authenticity piece that's missing, where they see you have a big fan base, but nobody's really engaged in your content. Something doesn't ring true. But you know who else you can't fool is the social media algorithms, right?
No, you cannot.
That's true.
You know, and one of the things that we know that goes into how many people your content reaches is something called your relevancy score or your engagement score, right? And that means how many of those fans are engaging with your content. And Facebook particularly looks at that and says, oh, you know, Ivana put out this content, lots of people are engaging. It must be great content. I'm going to show it to more people.
Yeah.
And then that's how you get better reach and you know, better eyeballs, more eyeballs on your content. But then if the algorithm looks at your content and says, hey, Ivana put out this content, but like 2 people have liked it and she has all these fans, this must be crappy content.
Yeah.
And they don't show it to anybody else.
Yeah.
You kind of get the kibosh on that, right? And so buying fake followers can really hurt you in the ability to get your content out there in front of other people.
I think at first people were getting away with it and influencers starting out before people knew about it, but now, like you said, there's so many resources, just as we're doing the help desk right now, where you don't have to be in social media to recognize these things going on. And so I just think people have so much more access to information than when Instagram and Twitter and Facebook all started. So you don't have to, the everyday person can tell when something's not right.
Yeah, and with so many things being posted on social media, you want genuine content on there, you know, and quantity isn't always better than quality, so.
Right. Well, quality is typically better,
right?
So what else should we be aware of, Ivana, about purchasing fans?
Really just about keeping your trust with your real fans. I mean, if I saw a business that had a bunch of fake followers, I wouldn't really want to be trusting of following them or buying their products and things like that. So
okay, so it's, you know, it's that relationship that you're building.
Definitely.
I think I was kind of reading ahead, and this kind of goes into what Instagram's doing next, correct? About keeping Instagram more safe with their new feature in the news. I don't know if you want to expand upon that.
Yeah, we can talk about that. So it's not just keeping it safe, it's keeping it more authentic, right? So Instagram has this problem with a lot of people inflating their accounts, buying fans, and we see a lot with influencers where they look sort of bigger than they are, but all those fans and the engagement aren't really authentic. And so Instagram says, well, we're going to combat this. And they put in some new features that sort of let you see through that, sort of lift the veil a little bit and see if these are real, authentic followers. And they're calling it, a few things. First, they're adding the About This Account section.
I can't wait till this comes
I know,
out.
Yeah,
right?
I'm really excited about this.
So we don't have a date for this yet, but they say it's coming soon, and it's about this account. And they're going to have a section where you can see a lot of information about the Instagram account you're following. And here are the things that they're requiring businesses load in there: the date they joined Instagram, the country of origin where the account is located,
I love it.
Accounts with shared followers. So like if you got a bunch of robots to follow this account, are there other accounts that you got the robots to follow, right? Because if 2 accounts have identical followers, those aren't real followers, right? No people like exactly the same accounts. Username changes within the past year. Okay, that's a tactic. When the algorithms start to see that you have robot followers, sometimes you just change the name of your account and now you're starting over. But no, you have to report that now.
System.
Yeah, and then the ads the account is running. So you have to list all of that stuff. What do you guys think about that? Is that a good thing?
So will they know what exact ads you're having, or how many ads, or like what does that mean?
I don't know, because it hasn't rolled out yet, but it says the ads the account is running. So maybe you have to just list which ads are
I can't wait for this to come out just because I feel like I have a list of accounts I already want to go look into and see like where they come from, when they started. I think the country thing's a great indicator where they're at. Same with the username changes within the past year. I don't know if the ads really bother me because if you know you're following a clothing company, I mean, we're in marketing, so we love ads.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah. So maybe it'll help us with ideas or new concepts. But I think it's going to be really fun to go in and look at other people. But I think people that are going to be checked on are not going to like this feature at all.
But tell me about it from a consumer standpoint. Like, you're a big Instagram user, Taylor. What's that going to be like? Do you ever follow accounts that you say, I'm not sure if this is really legit, I wish I could check it out more?
So I think that I have an unfair position because I work in social media, so I probably wouldn't follow them from the start. But if I take myself out of being in social, then maybe it would be cool to be able to go in and look and kind of like answer questions that you have for yourself, and it gives you everything right then and there. Because there's no reason to support a small company that's up and growing or running ads. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think there's these other indicators that might make you think otherwise.
So you're saying because of your position here, you can probably smell a rat.
Yeah.
So you know, and I think I would like to think I'm pretty good at that too. You know, you can pretty much tell is this an authentic user.
Ivana made a new Instagram account like in the middle of the night, and that's the first thing I brought up the next day. I was like, "What happened to your old account? Why did you start a new one in the middle of the night?"
Wait a minute, why did you start a new one in the middle of the night?
I just had to start fresh. My old one, I had just a lot of random people on it, so I just kind of wanted to start a new one. And it takes a long time to just like delete followers. So I just started a new one. I started fresh. I followed KWSM.
I was going to say, wait, I follow you on Instagram. Does that mean I'm out now?
You have to follow me back now, yeah.
Okay.
I refollowed everyone though, so.
Okay. All right. Good. So that brings up an interesting point. That's not in our news of the day, but let's talk about it. Social media is sort of like a tracking device now, right?
It really is.
Like you wanted to let go of this part of your past, right?
Well, it's funny because I just feel like it's so much about image, you know, and so I just kind of wanted to get away. Like, I don't care about the followers personally or the likes. I just wanted people who I was close to, people I knew that were going to follow me, you know, not just like random people. I wanted like genuine friends to follow me and me follow them back. So,
well, because when you put stuff out on social, a lot of times if you're using it personally,
you're branding yourself.
Well, yeah, it's really like sharing yourself. Like, you're putting personal stuff out there.
Yeah, and I've always been super careful about what I post. Yeah. And I don't really post very often. And so this one I just kind of posted a funny picture. But I only have like 60 followers, so I don't really care, you know, like 60 people. So it's fine, you know.
Okay. Because I keep my Facebook and my personal Instagram pretty
You've never
private.
Seen it.
And you never will.
I've seen your picture with your horse, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I've seen it.
But I only let people that I'm not that we're not friends. I love you dearly, but only people that I'm really, really close to get on there. So I probably have, like you said, 75 friends. But I use that differently than I use the social media for the agency, let's say. Where we're much more public, and it has personal stuff because we all work here. You know, my husband works here, so it is a personal thing to a certain extent. But those are two different sides of me. I'm sharing things that are different.
Yeah.
But okay, so Taylor, talk to me about like the content you're putting out personally on social media. Is there ever a time when you look back and say, oh, well, got to delete all the pictures of that ex-boyfriend because we broke up, you know?
Yes, I just went through this.
I had no idea.
Did you really? I went through this in the last year. I already didn't post. If you know my Instagram, I only have, I think, 8 photos since Instagram's been around. That doesn't mean there wasn't more at one time, but I'm already so kind of weary of the brand I'm putting out there of myself, and I always feel like I'm always evolving and changing. That so is my life, and I want that page to match me. So I kind of got to a point where I was putting up, deleting, and so now I just kind of got to the point where I just don't put up as much unless it's something that I feel is like core to me forever. And the breakup thing is very significant as well. I didn't go through and delete everything because that would have been a significant part of my life, but maybe more obvious post with that person in it.
Well, it's editing, right? You're editing what you put out there, and you're editing. So I went through mine recently and deleted stuff. I didn't break up with anybody. Don't tell Stephen. But I realized that the aesthetic that I had when Instagram first came out wasn't
so
very
different.
good.
You have
I
filters.
usually go through and like delete things, and I do the same thing.
So I wasn't very good at Instagram at first. Now I think I'm better. And so I sort of deleted all the ones that didn't represent what I wanted to put out there.
Yeah.
And I think, so we're talking personally, of course, but I think that it's also important for anyone who is a professional, has a job, right? Your social media is part of what you put out there now. And if you don't keep your accounts private, then I do think it's fair game for clients or employers or business connections to check out what you put out there. And it says something about you.
I think as a social media manager, it's my favorite part of our job are building the pages and building that image and the colors and the brand. I think I enjoy doing that the most for clients because you just have so much creativity room to establish yourself. And it's funny that I'm so weary with my own, but when you have brands that bring us exactly their logos, their colors, their statements, we can, and their voice, style, we can really it's really fun to be able to implement that through images and captions.
Yeah. But what about you as a professional? Because your Instagram is public.
Yes.
And are you worried about what would your clients see if they went on there? Like, does that enter your mind when you're posting?
Well, I don't post much, so I think about what's on there. I do stories a lot, and I think the good thing with stories is they're only up for 24 hours, but you still have that risk of someone seeing them. I think there's also this feature where you can hide your story from accounts.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's always smart to take in. I don't post anything inappropriate just because I think I'm at that age where I don't care to show off what I'm doing and that such. When I was 18, I was at a pool party, it might have been fun, but now it's just I'm in a different stage of life, so I don't worry about what I post. But what would I think if my clients, I'm thinking specific clients went and looked at my page.
Yeah, because I think in this day and age, that's fair game, right?
Yeah,
and I'm wary of because we work in this field, I think people are more inclined to check us out online, which I think is fair. But even people who are outdoor salespeople who interact with a lot of prospects, or maybe you're in insurance, or maybe you're an attorney or a CPA, people do judge by what they see that you put out there on your. And LinkedIn is one thing. LinkedIn is the most. I was about to
say LinkedIn. I feel like you see that the most.
Yeah, but it's the most professional, so people aren't really putting out inappropriate things.
You can't really post like pictures on there, like Instagram. At least
you can, but
not like lifestyle pictures or.
Most people don't.
Yeah.
Right. But I do think that certainly if I'm going to work with a new professional or vendor, I would look up their social. If I'm going to hire somebody, I would look up their social. Absolutely.
I think right now I'm in the stage as I don't mind them coming and looking at my stuff. Maybe there might be personal discrepancies with the way I dress outside of work or something like that, but I don't think that's something that would ever affect my job, because I would never post something that I think would affect my job or chances. And I kind of like being transparent with them, where they feel like they do get to see me and they do know me if they want to look at me. I mean, we don't allow following and whatnot, but if they go to my page, I'm not worried about it. And I kind of like, if I was private, I wonder what they'd be thinking that I'm hiding, and maybe have that question arise. What's going on that I'm not looking at on your page?
I've always been private though.
Like,
I've never posted with hashtags, and I've always been private. So I feel like if I saw another private thing, I wouldn't be fazed by that. Right. I think it's normal, because I feel like most of my friends have private profiles.
All right, so that was just the tip of the iceberg of what Instagram's doing these days, right? There's another thing they're doing. It's a global verification form they're rolling out. And this is so that they can guard against fake accounts, people just setting up robotic accounts. You're going to have to fill out this global verification form that notes that you are who you say you are. They're doing it for public figures and for anything that has a large number of followers. So that's good. And then they're really working on their two-factor authentication platform right now. That's where you need two different types of information to be able to log into the account. And that's a safety feature. Instagram, if you watched last week, you know that Instagram recently had a hack where accounts were hacked. And they'd already implemented two-factor authentication, but now they're really beefing it up and making sure that that's going to be
I really wonder how this will be for businesses or agencies like ourselves that manage multiple, if that's going to flag accounts, like us logging in from one phone to multiple accounts. Do you think we'd ever get flagged for that?
I don't know, because they allow you to toggle between accounts.
I think it's more of if your account is real or not.
Got it.
Right. Yeah. I think so too. I think so too. I think the toggle feature is very beneficial for people. And I think they want agencies using Instagram, right? I mean, if we told all our clients, you don't need to be on Instagram, everybody get off Instagram.
No.
That's not what Instagram wants.
Yeah.
So they do make it easy for people to manage multiples. And I think multiple people, like I have me as KWSM Instagram, and I have real Katie Instagram, right, outside of work. And so I need to be able to toggle between those two.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't think that's so much something they're looking at. I think Ivana's right. It's more like fake accounts, or if you're saying you're somebody you're not. Like, I'll tell you a story. When I was in television, I was a television anchor. Instagram didn't exist back then. It was a long time ago. But Facebook did. And somebody made a fake Facebook account of me, like a personal Facebook, because my headshot's out there, right? It's easy to find pictures of me. And so they found a headshot of me, and they filled it out, and they know where I work, because I was on TV. I was a television anchor at the time. And then the account, this is awful, the account would post snarky things about all the other female anchors that I competed with. I don't think it's competing.
Oh
they were at other stations.
I never heard this.
And this account would post snarky things like, oh, did you see Betty's hair today, or whatever, which I would never say. Or post on Facebook, but
what did you do?
I found out because I saw the account, because people are like, did you see this?
Yeah.
It was clear, anyone who knew me, it was clearly not me doing it. But we reported it to Facebook, and we had to work, they stole my identity or whatever on Facebook, so we had to work through them to get the account closed. And
that's something that businesses can face too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
To go through.
Absolutely. We've had clients in the past that somebody uses, if it's a well-known brand, somebody uses their brand and makes a fake page.
Yeah.
And so, they're putting lots of things into place so that that's not as easy to do, which I think is important.
Yeah, definitely.
And then while we're making the social media rounds, let's talk about YouTube, because YouTube is actually doing something really interesting. They're using their powers for good these days. A lot of people are into YouTube. They have about 8.8 billion monthly active users. So YouTube's very popular. It's the second most popular search engine behind Google. And they are now saying, we're going to use all this sentiment, all these people that like and use us, to raise money. So they've created something for nonprofit organizations and charities called fundraisers on YouTube, where basically you can embed fundraising campaigns into your videos and your live streams on YouTube. So you can be having content like this and then be raising money during the content. And right now, YouTube is allowing that, and it links to a place where you can donate, but they're not taking a percentage. So they're doing it for free. Yeah, they're letting people raise money, and 100% of the money that's donated through these streams. For now. 100% of the money goes to the nonprofit.
Yes.
Yeah, now of course that could change, right?
Yes. And I think we will see it change.
All good ideas have to be monetized.
Yeah.
Right? So I think they're testing, right? They're seeing, like, will people do this? And then they also made a new feature called Super Chat for Good. Okay, so if you get invited to a Super Chat for Good on YouTube, that's because they're going to be live streaming a Super Chat, and they're going to have a payment system built in where they can take donations during the live stream.
It's interesting.
Which is really interesting. I mean, it could open up. We have nonprofit clients, and they're always looking for ways to raise money, because that's what nonprofits need. And this could open up a whole new way to use social media as a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Right? What do you think?
But I think it's interesting because Facebook also does that with like
GoFundMe.
If it's like your birthday, you can donate. You can like encourage your friends to donate. So I think that's interesting. I wonder what other social media accounts are going to be doing that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because right now for our nonprofit clients, like we run Kickstarters and GoFundMes and that sort of thing. But you're posting on YouTube, making a video, and then you're trying to link to it in the caption or whatever, or on Facebook, and you link back to the page. But now they're saying they're going to build in that payment system like into the content you're creating.
I've noticed that with stuff like Kickstarter and GoFundMes, that they're originally for a lot of startup companies and nonprofit organizations, and I've seen them transition into being kind of I don't know how to appropriately say it, but not inappropriate, but to raise money for families that are going through crises. And while I think it's a great idea, I feel like that's solely what they're used for now. So I'm just wondering if you'll see kind of the same idea of that in YouTube.
I wonder with since YouTube has YouTube celebrities, I wonder if they're going to be more involved in that, because I feel like if they were, then people would be more inclined to participate.
Like you could have a spokesperson.
There's so many YouTube bloggers and things like that. So.
Taylor brings up an interesting point, though, because can anybody do a Super Chat for Good? Like, could I be like, today we're raising money so I can have another pit bull, right? And then I have too many pit bulls. We can't have another pit bull. Oh, no. I can get all the pit bulls by myself. I need pit bulls, puppies, dogs.
Yes.
But, could I just set one up and see if people will donate? Or is there like a qualification system where only registered nonprofits are allowed to use the tools? I don't know. They haven't released that information. But for me, it's a lot more credible if there is. If you have to be a a 501c3 or something like
yeah,
that.
I mean, I
definitely.
love seeing people help other families in need, but I kind of miss seeing all the startups and like ideas and innovations that these platforms were based off of too. So it'll be exciting to see this rolled out.
Yeah, and see if it helps people raise money. That would be a good thing.
Definitely.
All right, so what is it? September already, right?
Unfortunately.
September. Unfortunately, it's
Summer's over.
This is
but
that's
the
not-
weather hasn't changed.
Yeah,
I know.
It doesn't
Not
really
in
change
Orange
until
County.
November.
Here in
So.
California, it's sunny and 80 degrees outside. But anyway, marketing changes, right? Because as we near the end of the year, we're going to roll into fourth quarter soon, and we're coming up in holiday seasons. A lot of times, people are trying to capitalize on that time of year. Holiday times are coming up. People are trying to make their revenue goals or their marketing goals. Drive ad spend or revenue by the end of the year. And you've been thinking a lot lately about how to promote that on social media and take advantage of this shifting period in the seasons.
Yeah, of course. So I think when anyone sits down as a business owner, and you can relate, and as us, when we sit down to build content, sometimes you can overthink it, and you're thinking about what ideas, what's going on, and you kind of can put yourself in this situation where you're like, I have nothing. But the seasons bring year-round opportunities to do marketing and social posts and content and promotions, and I think actually the seasons we're coming into provide the most. So with seasons, you have spring, winter, fall, summer, and all of these bring different colors, different shades, different moods, different attitudes, different energy levels, and I think these are all things you can put into your content. The first thing I want to talk about seasons is, so I've already discussed that we've had the 4 that you can go to. And as everyone knows, we're approaching fall, so you've already seen it. I can promise you, no matter where you're at watching this, you've seen fall come into play. You've seen Starbucks transition over with their colors, their pumpkin spice lattes.
Yep.
Everything has already transitioned. And while you think it's just a drink, that's really a whole fall marketing scheme that's happening. And so we want to talk about how you can use fall and winter and the upcoming holidays to boost your social media presence as well.
So give me some examples. Let's think of some products and how could we shift into a fall campaign?
Okay, first one's my favorite is for a salon, mostly because I represent a salon client, so this is really fun. But in the fall months, you always go darker with your hair, and there's different trends for hair, and so you can represent all of these and how you can do the darken your roots and darken all your hair. You always go darker in fall, so that's one thing. You can also change your nail color and your toe color. You go from bright pinks and bright oranges, and then in the fall you go to taupes and more settle tones, and then in the holidays you go bright red for Christmas, and you can kind of get fun with those. But these are all marketing and social posts that you can just be putting out constantly, and there's so much there for you.
So what would we do? Make a picture of a hairstyle and say, time to go darker for fall, then they want to make their appointment?
It really is that simple. You can share articles of celebrities that are going darker in fall, or why you go darker in fall. It's with skin tones and all sorts of things. So there's lots of content like that. The other thing is, if you feel like you're a business that isn't that easy that you can represent, there's still so many things going on. So say you're a dentist, so that we'll go right off the spectrum away from a salon. If you're a dentist, you can do things like back to school picture day. You're going to be smiling. And so there's so many things happening in fall that you can still utilize as a business.
One of my favorites for dentists is Halloween.
Yes.
Halloween is
Candy.
a dentist nightmare.
Yes.
Right? And so can you educate about what candy does to your teeth, or,
Yes.
is there some
Or you just
content?
promote that you have cleanings on sale after they eat all the candy. You don't have to be a Grinch and take away the candy and the holiday fun, but that's a great way to offer promotions and discounts on cleanings and cavity checkups.
Yeah.
And
So
the
that
fun stuff.
So that leads us into the second thing that you want to talk about, which is tying into holidays. So Halloween is one that's coming up, but then we're gonna have Thanksgiving and Christmas and
New Year's.
Labor Day we just had.
You're
New Year's
taking them right out of my mouth.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Talk
Those
to
are all
us.
the holidays. But I think a more important issue, or a more important concept that you can pull from holidays is people take the holidays very seriously. And this comes with a lot of shopping, whether it's food, whether it's presents, whether it's decorations. There's a lot of shopping going on, which means your clients and consumers are spending much more time on websites doing research. And so I think this is just a time where you want to make sure your content is engaging and inviting. And also this is a great time to be doing ads and promotions, because there's a lot more eyes on businesses during these holiday seasons.
Yeah. Well, and if you have end-of-year specials or holiday shopping
Yeah.
specials, now's the time to get the word out for those, right?
Yeah, and I think you'll see a lot of apps making it easier to shop as well. You know, we look on Pinterest for Halloween ideas, and we look on Facebook for ideas, and now Instagram has its shoppable feature. So I think all of these tie together for that really boost your business's marketing. And so making sure making sure as a business that you use all of these features and the seasons and the holidays to your advantage. I mean, the content will pretty much build itself. There's so much out there.
One of the things too that we do here in our morning huddle that we have every morning is we talk about those like quirky holidays that nobody knows about, right?
I didn't understand why we did those at first, and now I'm preaching to the choir.
Trust the process.
Yes.
So it's like National Left-Handers Day or Donut Day or
Beer Day.
Take your
National
dog to
Beer
work
Day.
day. Like all of those things that happen are great ways to make content that showcases your personality a little bit or ties into your business, right?
And I think brands get excited to have days that represent them too, you know. Whether you're a dentist or a lawyer, there's something for everyone. So just getting creative and making content that's relatable to your audience is just going to be the best for you.
Well, and I think you have to get creative about how you make it relate. Like we had, maybe it was a week ago, we had National Self-Care Day, right? And you think about self-care in a lot of ways, but we said, okay, maybe it's booking an appointment at a salon or joining a gym or
Getting a massage.
Taking some quiet time to read. Maybe it's we have a debt collection client, and we said maybe self-care is like finally getting your debt handled, right? And there are all these ways that you can take your subject matter and tie it into the holiday or the special peg.
I think one of the biggest takeaways from all of this is that you should really approach your content you're creating and putting out as if you were the consumer looking at it. And if I was the one shopping, as if I'm the one buying the stuff, instead of thinking about what you want to promote, think about your experience as a consumer.
What's on their mind, right?
Put yourself in their shoes.
One of our rules of great storytelling that we talk about all the time is how can you tie your content into things people are talking about anyway. And right now people are talking about fall, they're talking about back to school, they're talking about football.
It's coming next.
And so really tying your content into those things can help you get better engagement.
And I think it helps to be relatable, you know. You can tie into everything.
Well, it's what they're talking about. Why shouldn't it be what your business is talking about?
Of course.
All right, good tips. Good job. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back here next week at 12:30 Pacific time, 3:30 Eastern time. We do this every week. If you have questions you want us to answer, go ahead and email us. It's tips@kwsmdigital.com. And if you need help with your social media or any tips or tricks between now and then, there's a few places that we have resources for you. First of all, we have a blog on our website. We blog every single day. It's kwsmdigital.com is our website. Secondly, we have a tip of the day playlist on our YouTube channel where you can get our best tips. And we have past episodes of this show that you can hear about all the social media news every week. So that's our YouTube channel, which is KWSM Team. And this is special for this episode. We have boot camp coming up. Social Media Boot Camp is a group coaching class that we teach 3 times a year, and it is coming up in October. So we have classes on Facebook, Instagram and Pinterest, LinkedIn, and YouTube. It's every Friday in October from 9 to noon here in Aliso Viejo at our office. The classes are limited to 12 business owners, and we will have a very hands-on teaching experience. We ask you to bring your laptop, work on your channels in class. So if you are a marketer or a business owner or somebody who just wants to learn a little more about how those channels work, our classes cover everything from like nuts and bolts, how do I do this, to overall strategy and best practices. There's information on our website, kwsmdigital.com. There's a whole page called workshops. Go in there and you'll get all the information. But we hope to see you at boot camp. And until then, we will see you back here next week at 12:30 Pacific time. Thanks. See you later.
Bye.